The first thing that bothered me was the breathing. Not loud breathing either, just close, like someone trying not to be heard through a microphone they forgot was on. I heard it for maybe 4 seconds before the video froze, buffered, then disappeared completely. No error, no copyright notice, just gone. I remember staring at the blank page thinking maybe my internet dropped. But then, the comments vanished too. Every single one. Like the upload had never existed. This was around 2 years ago, maybe a little longer. I only remember because I was still working overnight moderation for a resale platform, the kind where people list random junk from storage units and dead relatives' garages. My whole shift was basically sitting in my apartment at 2 a.m. reviewing flag listings and obvious scams while half watching garbage online. That night was dead quiet. Rain outside, my upstairs neighbor dragging furniture around again. Normal stuff. Then I got an automatic moderation flag for violent content embedded in listing images. Usually that meant kids posting hunting knives or idiots uploading screenshots from movies to bypass filters. But the thumbnail attached to this one was just a dim hallway, nothing graphic. The seller account was brand new. Username was L_Miro. No sales history, no profile picture. The listing title was just Tape Lot, Family Recording Collection. 37 VHS tapes for $40. I almost cleared it automatically. Then I noticed the photos. Every tape had handwritten labels. Birthdays, school plays, Christmas 2004, random family stuff. But one tape near the bottom said, "Don't play this one." Not creepy handwriting either, completely normal marker. That's honestly what made it worse. Somebody had underlined it twice. Our system flagged the listing because the seller had included a short preview clip. Sellers sometimes uploaded footage proving tapes worked. I clicked it expecting static or old home video quality. At first it looked exactly like that. Shaky camera, night vision grain, somebody walking through a house whispering. Then the camera turned toward a dark hallway, and the person filming stopped moving completely. I remember hearing a TV somewhere in the house. Some old sitcom laughter track. Then the breathing started. Very soft. Too close to the mic. The camera zoomed slowly toward the hallway, and for one frame, literally one frame, there was somebody standing there. Tall, facing sideways. I thought maybe it was just artifacting from the tape. Then the video froze. Buffet. Gone. Listing deleted itself seconds later. Not removed by moderation. Deleted by seller. That should have been the end of it. Weird internet thing. Probably fake viral bait. But maybe 20 minutes later, I got a support ticket directly from the same account. No message, just a zip file attachment. Which already wasn't normal because users couldn't send files through support. I almost reported it to IT immediately. But curiosity got me first. I downloaded it. Stupid decision. The zip only had one video inside. No text, no title. Timestamp on the file said it had been recorded in 2009, modified 3 days earlier. The video opened immediately to black screen and static crackling. Then somebody whispered, "If you can hear this, don't pause it." I actually laughed a little when I heard that because it sounded exactly like some ARG nonsense. But the voice sounded terrified, not performative scared, exhausted scared, like they'd been awake too long. The camera eventually adjusted and showed the same hallway from the listing preview. Yellow wallpaper, family photos, narrow angle. There was a digital timestamp burned into the footage. October 14th, 2009, 2:13 a.m. The person filming kept whispering to somebody named Kelly, "Kelly, don't look down there. Don't look at him." The camera moved toward the hallway very slowly. Every few seconds, the footage distorted horizontally, like the tape itself was damaged. Then the filmer whispered something that made me stop smiling completely. He said, "He keeps changing where he stands when we blink." I remember sitting up in my chair at that point. The hallway looked empty. Then there was a loud bang somewhere upstairs in the recording, not in my apartment. In the video, the camera jerked hard. The filmer started breathing faster. And for maybe half a second, I saw someone at the end of the hallway. Not a monster. Just a man, tall, balding, wearing what looked like a tucked-in white shirt, standing perfectly still with his hands at his sides. The final way, camera instantly turned away. The person filming started crying quietly, real crying, trying not to make noise. Then the footage cut to static. I checked the runtime, 28 minutes. I skipped ahead. Big mistake. The screen stayed black for maybe 10 seconds before another clip appeared. Different room. Daytime now. Somebody sitting at a kitchen table. The timestamp said 8:41 a.m. Same date. The camera was hidden somewhere high up, maybe on top of a cabinet. A woman walked into frame carrying groceries. She looked exhausted. There was no audio except static hum. She unpacked food slowly, then suddenly froze. Completely froze. She looked toward the hallway off camera and stayed like that for almost a full minute. Then she quietly said, "No, just that." No panic, barely audible. Then she backed away from the hallway while shaking her head. I noticed she was holding a can so tightly her knuckles were white. Then she dropped it. The sound made me jump hard enough I hit my desk. She ran out of frame immediately after. About 10 seconds later, a man walked through the kitchen. White shirt, same guy. He moved weirdly slow. Not unnatural exactly, just careful, like he knew the camera was there. He stopped directly beneath it and looked upward, not at the lens, slightly beside it. Then the footage cut again. At this point I should have closed the file. I know that, but I was locked in mentally. The timestamps kept bothering me too because they weren't chronological. The next clip jumped backward to 1:09 a.m. The family was sitting together in the living room watching TV. Completely normal. Dad asleep in a recliner. 2 kids on the carpet. Nothing scary. But there was a reflection in the dark window behind them. Somebody standing outside. I didn't notice it immediately. The camera never focused on it. Nobody inside reacted to it. But once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. Same white shirt. Same posture. Just standing in the yard staring in. Then the oldest kid looked toward the window suddenly, and the footage skipped forward like someone had manually cut part out. The father was awake now, angry. He kept asking, "Who keeps leaving the side door open?" Nobody answered him. The mother looked genuinely confused. Then the tape glitched again. I remember checking the sender information through our internal tools, thinking maybe I should contact police or something. But the account details were basically fake. Disposable email, VPN location bouncing all over the place. The IP logs ended in Nevada once, then Ohio, then nowhere useful. I sent the file to our internal security channel asking if anybody else had gotten weird uploads from the account. One coworker replied almost immediately asking, "Why did you open it?" That bothered me. I asked what he meant. He said the account had uploaded the same listing 6 months earlier under a different name. Another moderator opened the file attachment and apparently quit a week later. No explanation. Just stopped showing up. I thought he was screwing with me until he sent the old ticket number. It was real. I pulled the archive notes. The moderator had written, "Video appears edited, but contains possible stalking evidence. Subject and footage may not belong to household." Then nothing else. No follow-up, no closure. I went back to the video. Around the 19-minute mark, things got worse. The footage switched to a bedroom camera, pointed toward a cracked open door. Timestamp said 3:11 a.m. The room was empty for nearly 2 minutes. I almost skipped ahead again when somebody walked past the doorway. Fast. Too fast to identify. Then back again in the opposite direction maybe 15 seconds later. Same pace. Like pacing. The third pass stopped directly outside the room. I could only see part of a shoulder through the doorway. White fabric. Completely still. Then there was this sound. God, I still hate thinking about it. Somebody whispering from inside the room. Not behind the camera. Inside the room itself. A child's voice. Saying, "Dad." The figure outside the door slowly leaned inward just enough for part of his face to become visible. Middle-aged guy, sweating, eyes open way too wide. And he whispered back, That isn't your dad. The screen immediately cut to black. No transition. Just dead black. I remember physically recoiling from my monitor. My apartment suddenly felt tiny after that. Every room dark except the glow from my desk. Rain still hitting the windows. Upstairs neighbor finally quiet. I muted the video for a second because I realized my heart was pounding hard enough I could hear it. Then my headset crackled. At first I thought audio from the file was still playing somehow. But the video was paused. I checked twice. The crackling kept happening every few seconds through my headset. Then I heard breathing. Same soft breathing from the deleted preview clip. I ripped the headset off immediately. Complete silence in my apartment. No breathing. Nothing. When I put the headset back on, the sound was gone. I convinced myself it was electrical interference. Cheap equipment, overtired brain. But I shut my bedroom door anyway. The final clip in the file was only 4 minutes long. No timestamp this time. Just static heavy footage from inside a moving car at night. The camera pointed through the windshield. Rain everywhere. Somebody driving fast. The person filming kept saying, "Don't stop the car. Whatever happens, don't stop." There were 2 people inside at least. Maybe more. I could hear crying in the back seat. Then headlights appeared behind them, very bright. The driver started panicking, saying, "He found us again." The camera turned toward the rear window and for a second, I thought another car was following them. But it wasn't. No headlights attached to it. Just 2 lights moving at road level in the darkness. The driver swerved hard. Everybody screamed. The footage distorted violently and cut out. That was the end. No credits. No reveal. Nothing. I sat there for a long time afterwards staring at my desktop reflection in the monitor. I eventually sent everything to platform security and wrote a report. They told me not to investigate further. The account disappeared completely the next morning. Every ticket connected to it got locked. Internal notes inaccessible. Even the archived listing vanished, like somebody manually scrubbed it. A week later, I got a padded envelope in my mailbox with no return address. Inside was a VHS tape. No label, just black plastic. I don't own a VCR, so I threw it away at the dumpster behind my building before work. I remember feeling stupid for being nervous about it. But later that night, after my shift ended, I checked the dumpster again. The tape was gone. Maybe somebody took it. Maybe garbage collection came early. I don't know. What bothers me is something else. About 3 months after all this, I was half asleep watching random videos online when autoplay jumped to a low-view upload with no title. Shaky footage, night vision grain, somebody whispering, same hallway, same yellow wallpaper, and before the video buffered and disappeared, I saw a reflection in a mirror near the end of the hall. The person holding the camera looked exactly like me. I knew something was wrong before the page even loaded, because my speakers started making that clicking sound old phones used to make right before a call came in. Except I didn't own speakers. I was wearing headphones. The noise kept pulsing every few seconds while the website struggled to load. White screen flickering, browser freezing, CPU fans suddenly screaming like I'd opened 50 tabs at once. I almost closed it immediately. The link had come from a Reddit thread about abandoned livestream archives. One of those late-night rabbit holes you fall into when you can't sleep and your brain wants something uncomfortable. Somebody posted a dead-looking URL with the comment, "This stream should not still be online." That was it. No explanation. Most people ignored it. A few joked around. One guy replied 6 hours later with "delete this." Then his account disappeared. I clicked anyway, because I was bored, and honestly expecting some edgy fake horror thing. The site finally loaded after maybe 30 seconds. Black background, tiny embedded video player. No title, no controls besides volume. The stream was live. That's what got me first. Top corner said live, with a viewer count of 2. No chat, no username. Nothing else on the page. The footage showed a storage room somewhere. Industrial shelves, concrete floor, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. End of Sandy Jew. Ah. The camera quality looked awful, like old security footage compressed 100 times. Nothing moved for nearly a minute. I remember checking if the stream was frozen when a man suddenly walked through frame carrying a box. He looked normal. Maintenance worker type, gray hoodie, gloves. Didn't acknowledge the camera. He set the box down near a metal door and left again. That should have been boring, but the viewer count changed from 2 to 11 in maybe 10 seconds. Then 34 seconds, then back to 7 seconds. Numbers jumping around unnaturally fast. I refreshed the page thinking the site was glitching. When it came back, the stream had rewound itself about 30 seconds. Same guy entering frame again, same box. Same exact movement. At first I thought it was looping footage pretending to be live, except this time there was writing on the box that definitely wasn't there before. Fragile. Do not return. I leaned closer to my monitor trying to read the smaller text underneath. The guy stopped moving. Mid-step. Completely still. Not buffering. The fluorescent lights still flickered overhead, but the man froze like someone paused reality itself. Then the stream skipped forward abruptly and he was gone. The box stayed there. Viewer count 103. I should mention I work IT support overnight for a hospital network. Mostly remote stuff. Password resets, ticket queues, restarting systems, doctor's break somehow. My shift that night was dead quiet, so I had the stream open on my second monitor while answering emails. Around 1:40 a.m., I noticed the timestamp burned into the corner of the footage. It was exactly 3 minutes ahead of real time. I checked twice because I thought maybe my PC clock drifted. It hadn't. The stream was showing the future. Not by much. Just enough to feel wrong. Then the metal door in the footage opened slowly, by itself. Nobody came through. The hallway beyond it was pitch black. Not dark. Black. Like the camera couldn't process what was there. A minute later, real time, my phone buzzed with a hospital security alert about motion detection in one of the closed administrative wings downtown. Same timestamp I'd just seen on the stream. I remember staring at the notification, then back at the video. The storage room looked familiar suddenly. Same gray floors we had in the older buildings. Same shelving labels. I convinced myself it was coincidence, until the maintenance guy came back into frame holding a flashlight and radio exactly 1 minute before security dispatch reported sending someone to investigate. My stomach dropped hard enough I actually stood up from my desk. The stream viewer count climbed into the thousands. No chat still. No comments. Nothing interactive at all. Just people watching. The maintenance worker approached the open doorway carefully. His radio crackled, but there was no audio from the stream besides electrical humming. Then he pointed the flashlight into the darkness. The beam didn't illuminate anything. It just stopped, like the dark itself absorbed it. He backed away immediately. Smartest decision anybody made in that entire video. Then, the stream glitched violently, horizontal tearing across the screen. A frame appeared, for maybe half a second, showing a different room entirely. Hospital room, empty bed, restraints hanging off the sides. Then, back to the storage room. The maintenance guy was gone again. The door remained open. Viewer count, 18,442. I checked the page source out of habit. Domain registration hidden. Site hosted through layers of nonsense routing I couldn't untangle quickly. The embedded player had no identifiable service attached to it either. No YouTube backend. No Twitch. Nothing recognizable. Just a direct video feed. Then I noticed something else. At the bottom of the page, almost hidden beneath the player, was a line of tiny text updating every few seconds. Current archive length, 213:44. It kept increasing. Whatever this was, it was recording itself live. Around 2:03 a.m. the footage changed angles abruptly. No transition. Now it showed a hospital corridor from a ceiling camera. Empty nurses' station. Lights dimmed for overnight power-saving mode. I recognized the floor instantly. 4th floor East Wing. One of ours. My building. I literally turned around in my chair to look toward the dark hallway outside our IT office. Same walls. Same cheap artwork. Same vending machine at the far end. The stream timestamp was still 3 minutes ahead. I watched a cleaning cart roll into frame on the stream. 3 minutes later, I heard the actual cart squeezing outside my office. Exact same rhythm, exact same employee humming under her breath. I walked into the hallway and saw her passing by, completely normal. I almost asked her if security was checking a disturbance downstairs, but I stopped myself because I realized how insane that would sound. When I came back to my desk, the stream had changed again. Now the camera showed a stairwell, door marked Level B2. That floor didn't officially exist in our building anymore. Old record storage, flooded years ago. Supposedly sealed off after mold contamination. But the timestamp kept ticking. Future by 3 minutes. Somebody was walking downward holding the camera now. First-person perspective. Heavy breathing. Flashlight shaking slightly. Viewer count over 90,000. Still no chat. No usernames. Nothing. The person filming reached the bottom landing and stopped at a chain door. I remember every detail weirdly clearly because this is the point where I should have shut the laptop and gone home. The flashlight beam revealed scratch marks all over the inside of the door. Not random scratches either. Parallel lines. Deep enough to expose metal beneath the paint. Then the camera tilted downward and showed the chain had already been cut. Freshly cut. The filmer whispered. They reopened it. Male voice, young, terrified. The timestamp on stream read 2:11 a.m. My real clock read 2 seconds, 8. Then every light in our actual office flickered once. I heard somebody near the elevators laugh suddenly. Short burst, then silence. I didn't move for maybe 10 seconds. The stream camera pushed the door open slowly. Pitch darkness beyond it. Concrete hallway. Standing water reflecting the flashlight beam. Old records boxes collapsed everywhere, and there was a sound under the static hum. Wet footsteps. Not from the camera operator, ahead of him. Slow. Deliberate. Viewer count dropped instantly from 90,000 to 12. Like thousands of people disconnected simultaneously. The camera operator whispered, I thought they emptied this floor. Then the flashlight landed on a wheelchair facing the wall. Fresh muddy footprints circled around it repeatedly. Tight loops. Hundreds of them. My phone rang at that exact second. Internal hospital line. I answered automatically without looking away from the stream. One of the overnight nurses sounded confused. She asked if IT was testing emergency alerts because monitors on 4th floor east kept turning on by themselves. Behind her, faintly through the phone, I heard the exact same wet footsteps from the stream. I muted myself immediately. She kept saying hello while I listened. Slow steps. Pause. Slow steps again. Then her voice changed, not scared yet. Just distracted. She said, Sir, to someone away from the phone. Silence. Then she whispered, How did you get down here? The call disconnected. The stream glitched hard again, frames skipping, audio suddenly cutting in for the first time. Loud static bursts. Then screaming somewhere distant in the building. Not dramatic movie screaming either. Confused screaming, people yelling over each other. The camera operator started running through the flooded hallway. Flashlight beams swinging wildly across ruined records rooms. Most doors hung open. Some had warning signs ripped halfway off. Biohazard, archive sealed. Do not enter without, one sign ended. There. The stream froze suddenly on a frame showing a person standing waist-deep in darkness at the far end of the corridor. I say darkness because I couldn't actually see water around them anymore. Just blackness swallowing the lower half of their body. Human silhouette otherwise. Tall, thin, hospital gown hanging loose. The viewer count climbed again rapidly. 40,000, 70,000, 120,000. The frozen image stayed there for almost a full minute. Then my office lights went out completely. Not flickering, dead. Emergency backup lighting kicked in a few seconds later, bathing everything in that dim orange glow hospitals use during outages. And from somewhere down the real hallway outside IT, I heard wet footsteps, slow, deliberate, same rhythm as the stream. I locked my office door immediately. My hands were shaking so badly I dropped my badge twice trying to grab my phone. The stream unfroze. The silhouette was closer now. No transition showing movement, just suddenly closer. The camera operator whispered, "No, no, no," over and over. Then the figure tilted its head unnaturally far to one side. I finally forced myself to look away from the monitor and call security. Busy signal. I tried again. Busy. Then every computer screen in the office flashed blue simultaneously before switching to the stream automatically. Every monitor. Same footage. Same viewer count. Same hallway. I unplugged one monitor physically, and the image stayed there for maybe 2 seconds before dying. The wet footsteps outside stopped completely. Silence. Then came 3 knocks against the office door. Calm. Evenly spaced. I didn't answer. Another 3 knocks. Then a voice. Male. Soft. I recognized the voice instantly. One of our overnight maintenance workers. Guy named Daniel. Nice dude. But something felt wrong immediately, because Daniel always used his radio first. Always. The voice outside said, "You need to see this." I stayed completely silent. The stream audio crackled again, and through my headphones I heard the exact same voice say, "You need to see this," perfectly synced with the hallway outside my office. The camera operator on screen started backing away rapidly. Heavy breathing, flashlight shaking. Then the beam illuminated a face for one frame. Pale skin, water dripping from the mouth, eyes reflecting white from the flashlight. It wasn't Daniel, but it was wearing his maintenance uniform. Someone started pounding on my office door hard enough to rattle the frame. Not frantic pounding, rhythmic, controlled. Boom, boom. The stream cut to black. Viewer count disappeared. Then white text appeared centered on screen. Archive complete. Beneath it was a timestamp, exactly 3 minutes ahead of real time. 2:26 a.m. I remember staring at it while the pounding continued outside. Then my real clock changed to 2:26 seconds. Immediately everything stopped. No pounding, no footsteps, silence. A second later, the office lights came back on normally. All monitors returned to login screens. The website disconnected itself. I checked the hallway through the office window. Empty. Completely empty. Security finally answered my call 5 minutes later, acting confused about the outage, because according to them, nothing had happened. No alarms, no dispatches, no basement access alerts, and there was no B2 level listed anywhere in the building schematics anymore. I checked myself later. Gone. Like it never existed. I wish that was the end of it. But every few weeks since then, usually around 2 a.m., I'll notice my speakers making that old cell phone clicking sound for no reason. And once, about a month ago, one of our hospital monitors flashed to static for maybe half a second before showing a frozen camera frame from a flooded hallway. There were muddy footprints circling something just outside the image, hundreds of them. And in the corner of the screen, barely visible, was a live viewer count, slowly increasing.